Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Taranja with the Citizenship Academy. Today we're on lesson 3 of our first unit in CKLA, which is about personification and breaking down a moment. So some things we're going to be doing today. We're going to be writing using personification. We're also going to quote from the text and figure out and describe what personification is. And we're also going to take a moment and we're going to learn about how to write using a showing method, not telling. So some key vocab that we are going to be talking about. So we have pothole, which is a hole in the pavement, a rectory with a house attached to a church, shuffleboard, a game in which players push a puck with long sticks, swaddling is wrapping up tightly, incessantly without stopping, grime, which is dirt, terrazzo floor, which is tiled floor, jalousie windows, windows with adjustable blinds, and cumin, a spice often used for cooking. So what is personification? Well, personification is when we're describing non-human things as if they had human qualities or acted in a human way. So the next few things we're going to talk about, and we're going to share some examples of what that means. So if we look at number 1 on this page, it says the bride danced with her father. Well, we know that a bride and a father are human. So the fact that they're dancing, that's just a normal occurrence. However, if we look at B, it says the moonlight danced on the ocean. Well, we know moonlight doesn't actually dance, it just kind of shines down, but they gave it a human-like quality. So the human-like quality for moonlight would be dancing. So that is an example of personification. Number 2, the coach yelled angrily at the kids who disrupted practice. Well, again, that's a human action. That's things that actually happen. But letter B says the cars honked angrily at the man who stood in the middle of the road. Well, I know that my car, as cool as it would be, will not honk on its own. So we know that the personified action here is that the car itself was honking. So the non-human thing is the car, and the action that took place is that it was honking angrily. Now, number 3 says the pilot flies above the clouds to avoid storms. Again, it has a human act in it, and it's got a human in it, so that one is not personification. But B says time flies whenever I get together with my best friend. If I were to look out the window right now, I'm not going to see time just fluttering away. So the non-human thing here is time, and the action that's taking place, the human action that's taking place, is that it's flying. Something I want you to notice when you hear personification, you hear the word person. So that is really important because that will help you remember if you ever get a question about it. If they ask you what is personification or what's an example of it, just look at the word person in it and you'll know, okay, it has to do with things being like a person. But remember, it's got to be about a non-person item. So it's not about a person, it's about a non-human thing that has human qualities. So here's some more examples. Before electricity, the village went to sleep at sundown. So the non-human thing is the village, and the human quality is it went to sleep. So if we wanted to rewrite this without personification, we would say before electricity, everything closed at sundown. The stubborn lawnmower refused to start. The non-human object is the lawnmower, and the human quality is that it refused. Well, if I wanted to change that to not have personification, I'd say, well, I couldn't get the lawnmower started. My cat is a snob, and when it comes to cat food, well, the non-human act again is the cat, and the human quality is a snob. I know my cat isn't. She can be snobby, but she's not human, so that's a weird thing. But the fact is that the cat only eats certain kinds of cat food. That's why they're a snob. And then the chocolate cake in the fridge was calling my name. The non-human thing here is the chocolate cake, and the human quality is it was calling my name. Obviously, or the chocolate isn't going, hey, come eat me. It's just that you really want it. You have that desire. So now you're going to get a chance to try. So on a separate piece of paper and a notebook, something you have, you're going to actually fill out the rest of this chart. You're actually going to create it on yourself. The first one's already been done for you. So they gave you a non-human object, and you're going to give it the human qualities of what it could have. So for the wind, they said it could be moaning, it could be whispering, it could make a mess, it could be whistling in my ear, things like that. Then you're going to fill it out for the rest of them. So what human qualities could a wave on the shore have? What human qualities can lightning have? And what can electric fan? It's very important to use your imagination because you have to kind of think what qualities it would have. And make sure you send that to me so I can see it. You can take a picture of it in Dojo. You can email it to me, however, but I'd like to see that. So now we're going to read our text for today. We're going to continue to reading Sand-Giving Day. So let's go ahead. And before I do start reading, remember, we're going to be actually talking about personification at the end of this. So as I read, start looking for those personified actions. I estimated and figured I needed at least a 20-pounder. There's no way I could carry it on my bike all the way home with the rest of the groceries. I'd have to come back just for the turkey. Considering the number of guests, I went back to the display and got 2 more boxes of stuffing, 6 cans of yams, 4 bags of marshmallows, and 3 cans of cranberry jelly, whatever that was for, and then I picked up a frozen pumpkin pie like Mrs. Brady had suggested. Proud as a pilgrim in 1621, I floated down the aisles with my loaded cart, ready for my first real Thanksgiving. When I got home, I set the bags down on the kitchen table and explained to Abuela that the turkey was too big, and I needed to go back right away. Pero, how are you going to carry it? She asked, concerned. Your abuelo can't take you. He's at the baseball game with Caco. You'll have to wait until mañana. But I didn't want to wait until the next day. What if they ran out of turkeys? I told Abuela I'd tie the turkey to the handlebars on my bike. She thought it over for a moment, then handed me a piece of twine from the kitchen drawer where she always kept the twist ties, matches, and birthday candles. I hopped back on my bike, darted to Liberty Mart, got my bird, and tied all 21 pounds of it across the breast onto my handlebars. But getting it home wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. When I rode over the pothole in front of the St. Brendan's Rectory, like I always did for the heck of it, one of the knots slipped and the frozen turkey slid like a shuffleboard puck down the sidewalk and into the gutter before stopping inches away from the catch drain. No problem, I thought. It was frozen and sealed in plastic. I picked it up and tied it even tighter with a few extra knots. But while I was cutting through the parking lot, it fell again, skidded under a 4-door sedan. I crouched down and tried to grab it, but it was just out of my arm's reach. Finally, I squirmed under the car on my belly and yanked it back, the turkey and me emerging grimy and blotched with oil. By then, the sweaty condensation on the bird made it impossible to tie to the handlebars. I took off my t-shirt, wrapped it around the turkey like I was swaddling a baby, and retied it for a 3rd time, thinking that would do the trick. Not so. Crossing 87th Avenue, it came loose again. I swerved to avoid running it over and fell off my bike. There we were, me and a 21-pound turkey lying on the pavement in the middle of a 4-lane road, just as the traffic light turned green and cars began honking incessantly. Surely the Indians and pilgrims must have had an easier time, I thought. With one hand on the handlebar and the other barely able to carry the turkey, I managed to inch my way over to the sidewalk. That's it, I yelled at the bird. I tied it to the bike seat and walked my bike the rest of the way home. Once home, I washed off the scuff marks and grime with the garden hose before presenting the turkey to Abuela. There was a tear in the plastic seal, but the turkey was still frozen and intact. Grande, que lindo, Abuela praised it, none the wiser, and made room for it in the freezer. Mama poked around and snooped inside the grocery bags. What's all this for? She asked Abuela. She looked at me to answer her. We're going to have a real Sand-Giving this year, Mama. Abuela's going to make a turkey and yams and everything, I explained. Como? A turkey? Nobody knows how to make that, especially not your Abuela. She can't even cook Cuban food too good, she jabbed. Don't worry, Abuela said, trying to remain calm. You just sit down and relax like you always do. Ricky is helping me, and he knows what he's doing. Bueno, Mama replied. I don't know. You better cook something else too. Some carne puerco, just in case. Si, whatever, Abuela said. Just as the bird slipped through her hands, it slid across the terrazzo floor, bounced down a single step from the kitchen into the Florida sunroom, and knocked into the TV. Lay there mocking us, mocking me, basking in the sunlight, enjoying the breeze whispering through the jalousie windows and the view of the backyard mango tree. framed by the sliding glass door. Early on Thanksgiving morning, Abuela told me to put the turkey outside. That's the best way to defreeze it, she said with authority. I put the turkey in a baking pan and placed it in the middle of the backyard terrace where the sun could shine on it all day. And Abuela faithfully followed all the directions as I translated them to her, without adding any additional ingredients of her own. No saffron, no garlic, no cumin. By 2 o'clock, the yams were ready for the marshmallow topping, and we had finished a pot of stuffing in a box. Como? Why? Where? Abuela asked, as bewildered by the concept of stuffing as I was, despite Jimmy Dawson's explanation, which I parroted to her. Yes, Abuela, inside. That's why they call it stuffing. We stuffed the bird and put it in the oven alongside Abuela's just-in-case pork shoulder, which she marinated overnight with bitter orange and garlic mojito. Wafts of roasting turkey, wafts of roasting pork. The competing scents battled through the house while I helped Papa and Abuela set up folding domino tables on both ends of our dining table. We assembled a mishmash of desk chairs, beach chairs, and stools stretching from the kitchen into the living room to seat all 22 relatives. I spent the rest of the afternoon making construction paper turkeys like Mrs. Echeverria had taught us in class. I placed one at each setting, then drew pumpkins all over the paper tablecloth and cut it into edges to make a frilly trim. Abuela added a bouquet of gladiolus, which didn't fit the theme but made the table look better, despite the plastic plates and utensils. Ay, Dios mío, come over here, Abuela yelled for me. What is that blue thing? She asked, alarmed by the pop-up timer in the turkey, which she hadn't noticed before and I had forgotten to point out. Relax, Abuela, it's nothing. It's supposed to pop up when the turkey is cooked, I explained. Really? Como inventan los Americanos? They make everything so easy, she said, relieved, then slid the turkey back into the oven, only to call me over 20 minutes later. Bueno, the puerco is done. The turkey must be done too. Look at it, she said. Puerco, Abuela, the blue thing hasn't popped up. We can't take it out, I demanded. Ay, mijo, look at the skin, toasty like a puerco, she insisted, knocking it with the back of the spoon. It's done, I tell you. Además, it's already 7 o'clock. We have to put all the other things in the oven before everyone gets here. Pero, Abuela, we can't, I repeated. She ignored my protest. What do you know about cooking? Give me los llames and el pie. I knew it was useless to argue any further, and hoped for the best as I topped the yams with marshmallows and cinnamon, and took the pumpkin pie out of the freezer. The doorbell rang. I told you, she said smugly. Andale, get the door. It was the Espinosa clan who arrived first, all 3 generations. Tia Mirta with the showgirl hips, Tio Maurizio wearing... Now, I know it's weird, but that's actually where that story ends. So, looking at personification here. See, whatever, Abuela said as the bird slipped through her hands. It slid across the terrazzo floor, bounced down the single step from the kitchen into the sunroom, and knocked into the TV. It lay there mocking us, mocking me, basking in the sunlight, enjoying the breeze, whispering through the jalousie windows and the view of the backyard mango tree framed by the sliding glass door. Well, the non-human thing here is the turkey. And here they're actually saying that it's mocking them. Is the turkey going, ha, you can't cook me? No. It's mocking them because they keep dropping it and slipping, and it just seems like it just doesn't want to do what they want it to do. The turkey can't bask in the sunlight. It can't enjoy a breeze. It can't whisper. Those are the human qualities that they're giving it. So those are examples of that personification. So that's it for this video. I have another video we're going to do afterwards that's going to get into learning how to show and not tell. See you then.